Good evening, guys, and welcome out to Revolution. And so I think I've made a pretty important discovery. Now, I've been going through Papyri 1, and I've found 616 on it, which is quite a strange place to find this. And so I'm going to go through it and show you exactly where I found it. I want to get as many people involved with this as possible. So I'm going to just spend a tiny bit of time just sharing this link around. I'll just grab this link and I'll just share it to maybe James Snap's group, New Testament Textual Criticism on Facebook. That would be very interesting to a lot of people there. And also New Testament Textual Criticism. Here we go. So when I just found this just only in the last hour. And so I was going through looking at the paratextual features of Papyri 1. So I went through and did my first episode going through to Aminadab. So I'm pretty sure it's down here is Aminadab. So we were checking every letter, looking at every word, weighing up whether it's been accurately done. And so, but beside the text, what I was very interested in was this little thing here in my last video. And so I came to the conclusion it's a upsilon with 3 dots around it, but with also a line above it and perhaps even a line before it and after it. It seems to have quite a lot of flair. But what I've realized, I found 616, which is a strangest thing to find on a manuscript that's about Matthew. And so I did a quick Google search. I couldn't find anyone who seems to have spotted this. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump into my Adobe Illustrator. And we're going to look at this issue here. Okay, so this is where I've found it, in this corner here. Now, I'll go full screen. And that too, that's obviously done in a modern hand by a pen. But you can see here, it has like an X, an I, and a capital C, okay? And with a line above it. Now, I'll just show you exactly what 666 looks like. If you're looking for it in a manuscript, right here. So an X, an I, and a C. So that's a numerical value of 616. Okay. So let's have a look at this. Am I dreaming or what's going on here? This is a very, I'm sort of shocked at this actually, that I found this and that no one else seems to have spotted it. Okay. So I'm going to just go back to the original. Okay, so that's the original. That's as far as I can really zoom in without it becoming blurred. So I'm going to make a few of these. Here we go. There's one. Copy another one. And so I'll put them in different types of effects. And I think that you'll be able to see this with me. Hopefully you can see it as clearly as I did. Okay, so let's look here. See, to me, that is the number 616. And so now, understanding that you're not going to get a sigma that looks like a capital S or a capital sigma in Greek. It looks like a capital C, or English C. So the key, the iota, and the sigma Now, I will try and do as much as I can to make this work. Now we've got to get the glowiness happening. Okay, so that's an interesting one to see. Glow size. Okay, it's probably better off actually like that. Okay, so I'll save that one. It's not very clear. I'll go to other effects. Sometimes you don't know what effect is going to work, and so sometimes these effects are ridiculous. But like I can still see the key there, the iota and the sigma there with a line above it. Once you see this, you can't sort of unsee it. Now, glowing edges. Let's have a look at this one. Okay, edge brightness, that's fine. Edge width, we want it not too narrow. Okay, is that helpful? It's not really that helpful, that one. Let's just move on. Some of these aren't helpful at all. Okay, distort. Brush strokes. No, not really helpful. I think the best one is the neon edges. Okay, so the plastic wrap, that might actually wrap around the letters. Not really. Okay, so we'll go back to neon glow. Okay, maybe I'll choose a different color. Yeah, maybe, yeah, that's fine. Can you see that it's actually glowing in green now, almost inside the letters? Let me just save that. The key, the iota, and the sigma isn't glowing there. But you can see here what I'm saying. It's key, an iota, and a sigma with a line above it. And so okay, so this resolution is not the best. Okay, so I've just jumped online to go, hey, guys, help me out here. Because if this does say 616, it's going to be quite a, I mean, Dan Wallace, he goes on about 616. I mean, I'll play a little video of what he says about it. I think it's quite ridiculous, but what I might do, I might just have a quick look online. What have I got here? Okay, I've got a few things open. So that's what we're sort of looking for. The key, the iota, and the sigma there. So Papyrus 115 has that reading in Revelation. So in Greek, the number of the beast obviously is 666. Okay. Dan Wallace calls this the neighbor of the beast, you know, which is, yeah, it's quite funny, but it's not really funny when you listen to him and he's actually toying with this being the real reading. So around 2005, a fragment from Papyri 151 was taken from the Oxyrhynchus site. It was discovered at the University of Oxford's Ashmolean Museum. It gave the number 616. This fragment is the oldest manuscript, about 1,700 years old, of Revelation 13, found as of 2017. Codex Ephraemi Rescriptus, known before the Papyri 151 finding, but dating to after it, has 616 written in full. Okay, so it has the full letters in Ephraemi Rescriptus there. Irenaeus talks about this, but before I get into that, I want to find some more high-res pictures of this. And so Let's just keep going through. Now, I might just do a new search. Papyrus 1. Now, maybe CSNTM, maybe their Papyrus 1 is clearer. Okay. Doesn't seem that much clearer, but can you see that? The key there with the line above it, as far as I'm concerned, that's an iota and a sigma there. But it doesn't seem, actually, I'll try some of these because they might zoom right in. Okay. Okay, not really that high res, which is a shame. For CSNTM, I mean, I've found, I'll just show this. I've found higher resolution just surfing around, which is a bit of a shame because CSNTM are known to have, high res pictures, and they get donations for that type of thing. And sometimes you look at the resolution and you're sort of left there going, oh, that's not really that great. Okay, maybe I'll just type in Papyrus 1. I'll get to the comments soon. I just want to find a really good high res picture of it. Christian Publishing House. What do they have? Okay, yes, this is Andrew's. Okay, so he's pointing to that, but to me, I can clearly see that one, and that was actually what I was studying. And then I looked over here and thought, hang on, that looks like a key, an iota, and a sigma with a line above it, which is 616. I was like, that is strange. And so, yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to get images from that website. So let's go back. Whoops. Hopefully I didn't shut all that down. I think I did. That's a shame. Microsoft Edge. I don't like Edge. I don't really know why I'm using it. I was using it for my server because it wouldn't let me save it in Chrome for some reason. Okay, history. Recently closed. Okay, here we go. All of those. Papyri 1 search. I might just go to Chrome. It's so much easier. Okay, Papyri 1. Put it in brackets. Okay. Okay, so it's talking about Papyri 1. Maybe it's got a link. That is not Papyri 1. Okay, that's fine. I'll go to pictures, images, and maybe I can go to tools and large size. Okay, so Wikipedia seems to have quite a big focus here. Okay, Papyri 1. All right, that's as big as I can get it on Wikipedia, which isn't that great. Okay, large images. If not, I'll just have to go with what we've got, because I did do a quick search before. Aha, this one might be big. Okay, and it's giving us a few links to other pages, so I'll crack them open. But let's check this one out. Okay. Looks like a very high-res picture that seems to be cut off a little bit. Let's grab that, copy image. We'll jump back into Adobe, make that a bit smaller, paste it here. No, it should have copied that. Copy image, image copied, Adobe Illustrator, paste. No, or I'll save it. Save image as, and I'll put it over here, put it on desktop. We'll save it, and then we'll upload it. To Adobe. Let's check that out. Yes, that's, oh, is it bigger? I don't know, it doesn't look that much. It actually looks smaller. Maybe it's better quality. Anyway, it looks pretty good. Looks very clear. Now, that's what we're looking at here. These three letters, okay. So again, I'll copy that, I'll paste it here, and I'll crop this image. Let's just move that down there. I'll make it a little bit smaller. So we're heading into that corner, apply. Now, we will go to Effects, Gallery. Okay, so we're looking at this section here. Okay, I'll catch up on the comments. Hilly Billy is in the house, saying it's 7 in the morning there. He has to take his wife to work shortly. Dale F is in the house. The 4031 family is living the dream. Heffen Jones is in the house. Hey, Heffen, good to see you. I've been noticing you've been putting some Greek onto the Textus Receptus Academy, which is great. It's always good to study the TR. Everyone's just chatting. Dale F, Brad McFadden. Hilly says, I hate to reveal my ignorance, but I don't understand the significance. Okay, I think you will afterwards. Heffen says, the only image I have is too blurred. The key iota is fairly visible. The alleged lunate sigma is not at all clear in the image I have, but the resolution focus is a bit poor. Okay. I might just put my bobbing head there for a sec while I'm doing this. 4031 family says, I'm assuming the significance is that the 616 is the number in Revelation. It might have more historical manuscript support than previously thought. I'm assuming. Hilly Billy says, 616 as opposed to 666. Thank you. Now I feel a little less stupid. Good evening, Nick. Okay. Heffen says, blurry picture I have looks like the key and the iota with double overbars, maybe double underbars, modern, Grenfell and Hunt. I'm using the INTF image. Okay. So Bold's asking what we're looking at. I think that I have found 616, the neighbor of the beast, in Papyrus 1, just by searching through. So I'm gonna have a look at some more resolution and some more things in a sec. But I thought I'd catch up on these comments. Hilly says, I'm just sitting on my limb watching and sniffing my fingers like a good monkey. Heffen Jones says, but hard. The depth of field has led to the edges being out of focus. The TR on the TR. Okay, so let's, maybe what I can do, I'll make this bigger. Okay, so let's go to Object, Transform, Scale. We'll just go to whoops, I don't know why it's doing that. Go to 200. Okay, maybe bigger. We'll do that again. Transform, scale. Yeah, that's good. And it still seems clear, which is good. Effects gallery. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger. Not that much though. Okay, so this is what we're looking at. To me, I'm seeing a key, an iota, and a sigma here with a line of it, meaning it would say 616. Okay, you can sort of see it when I fade in and out like that. It sort of comes up with a deep green. Now the sigma, it doesn't seem to come up with that green. So, but we'll just keep trying. Okay, so that's, if we, yeah, you can see it when I swap from that one to that one. Okay, but we'll try a few different tricks. Okay, I'll put it maybe there. Okay. Let's try this glowing edges one. I got a really good view of another part of this manuscript earlier when I was doing this, because I was just looking at the textual features. So there definitely is a key and an iota there. Okay. Now, as far as the sigma goes, I can see it. Heffen's saying he can't really see it. So I guess that's where I've got to sort of try and prove that. Okay, so the glowing edges doesn't seem to be working that well for this one. When I do it for the other textual features, it seems to work really, really well. So this one has either faded a lot or it's in a different type of ink. So anyway, I'll get out of that one because it's not really helping our cause. Now I'll go through these ones again. Sometimes one just stands out and it just shows us exactly what's going on. Okay. Okay. I am seeing that sigma there. Now I'm just going to save that, okay, because I can see that one there. Actually, what I should do, I'll go back, undo smudge. I'll copy that and paste it here. So we've still got that one we can play with later. Let's redo apply a smudge stick. You can actually see it clearer there. Maybe I can just zoom in. Okay, how far can I get? To me, I can see that sigma there very, very clearly. Maybe I can. I'm going to do the neon glow again. Actually, the glowing edges one it's usually so good. Neon glow. Maybe a different color. Let's go hot pink. Oops. I can't seem to move it from the green. That's fine. I'm not that much of an expert on the Adobe. Okay, so what's the significance of 616? Heifer Jones says, sorry, TR and the TR was responding to you noticing my quoting the Greek. Oh, yeah, cool. I'm just citing parts of the TR itself. Yeah, that's great. I'm enjoying that. Basically, 616 as opposed to 666. The neighbor of the beast. Where's the Chip Davis? The Chip Davis, I don't know. My counterpoint is that 6 is the number of man, 3 is the number of God, 666. Yeah, 616 doesn't work. Yeah, absolutely. Heffron Jones says, to be honest, I wouldn't say the C or the sigma is not there, but I can't see it with what's available to me. Okay, yes. Nick's going to fire me. No, you're cool. Grenville and Hunt, their old circa 1900 photo of P1 shows less damage around the edges than the current photos, but their photo was too low resolution and touched up to be any help to this investigation. But the C is half missing, very faint. Need my son to look at it. So, okay, how can I make this better? Okay. All right, so what I'll do, we'll go here and we will invert the colors. Invert colors, okay. To me, that C here, I might actually try and draw around it if I can get a pencil happening or something like that. No, I hate those things. Just a pencil or a pen. Here we go, pencil. That's cool. Okay, so to me, there's a key there, an iota there, and the sigma, I'll try and trace around it, is there with the line above it. Okay, so I don't know why that's not a permanent pen. Adobe is quite hard to learn. It's pretty tricky. Okay. Oh, there we go. Draw. Anyway. maybe I can put it in a little bit of a box there. Okay, so it's keeping the intersections there. So the key there, you can sort of see that, the iota there, and see the C there? If I sort of flash it on and off. Now, I haven't traced it perfectly, but to me that there is a C. It's basically, let me get that. If I can actually find something that will work like this. Whoops, then that's terrible. I feel like a little kid. Let me zoom out and go delete. Can you see it there? Okay. Boulder's line says the C is half missing, very faint. Heffernan says, love the photo manipulation stuff you're doing. I'm not using manipulation in a negative way. Is that a pun? Other folks do this sort of stuff as well. Time to get some multispectral imaging done of P1. I don't see the C on that one. Hilly Billy says, don't want to derail the chat to another dingo, but if you guys get a chance, check out the Hubble Legacy Field Photo. The resolution is incredible. You can zoom for days. The file's so big. I can't run any other programs with it open. Wow. Okay, so what I will do now, I have, this is what I was originally looking at, okay? So that was the resolution of the file, which I think is probably poorer. Now, this was one that when I was just looking at, I was actually just looking at the text, and of course I was looking at this sort of box thing here with the upsilon and the alpha, and just sort of looking around, and they've put a number 2 there. It doesn't seem to come up here with that one, with that particular one, but it's very interesting to see how the lettering is done here in Matthew 1. And so I was just going around looking for textual features around the outside, and I think I've found that maybe I need to get that sigma a little bit better traced, I should say. Oh, it's so hard to do. Okay, so you've got like the middle of it here, going around down here, coming up here, around down to there. Now let me zoom back out. It's got the key, the iota, and the sigma there. And that one. Can you see it now? Might delete the other one. The other one looks like, where's that one there? I'll delete. Oops, I deleted the other one, the good one. Yeah, that's awesome. So, yeah, anyway, I'm just wondering of any other effects that I could do. Or maybe with this effect, I can actually do some more effects on that. So let's have a look. Okay, that's not working. Let's go here. Effects gallery. And we'll try and stylize it. Again, stylize is not really working for that one, but just a neon glow one seems to be the business there. I can see the C or the S, sigma, very clearly there. Okay. I don't know how to change that. There we go. So I changed it to yellow. Okay, so let's try that. Okay. I've got to say goodnight right now. Might come back to see if you found a better image or a better tool to bring out what you're seeing. Take care. Have fun. Mine lied to me, of course. I'm too old. Okay, so how can I get this in a better artistic resolution? Let's just keep trying. Okay. So I'll undo some of these. Control Z. Okay, so we're back to the original image. I guess like what you guys are seeing now, I should actually make that as big as possible. And maybe if I zoom in, I can, well, here we go. If I zoom in here, then you guys can see it. Because to me, that is absolute blur on my screen. But looking at StreamYard, it's actually quite good. Okay, so you've got you can see my little mouse in the background there. So you got the key in the middle, you got an iota, and here now can you see the sigma, the capital C type letter, and it's got the line above it up here. Gooses says, I wish I could watch one of your videos live and be part of that chat community, but I have a 10-hour drives every day, so I like to save them for that. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, one of these videos is probably more visual, so I understand a lot. Most videos I listen to, especially on these type of topics. But Boulders Alliance says, Nick, that's a great autocorrect. So I'm hoping that you can see that. I'll zoom out a little bit. Okay, so we'll go zoom out. Yeah, I mean, I can see that segment there very clearly. The key, the iota, the sigma, and the line. Okay, let's go down a little bit more. Okay. What do you think, guys? Is that 616? I'm seeing it. It's a bit of a shame that I can't, maybe if I do the effects again, because I'm doing the effects, watching the effects happen on Adobe, but maybe I just need to make them larger and then we'll be able to see it. Okay, so let me just go to the effects gallery. I'll apply the neon glow. Okay. Okay, can you see that a little bit now? The capital C there, the iota there, and the key there. I'm seeing it. Okay. Zoom in. Yeah, Boulder's line says, yeah, kind of see it there. Okay, I'll do it again. Neon glow. Let's apply a new effect. Okay. Maybe if I can get that one bigger. Let's zoom out. Let's make this huge. Object, transform, scale. Let's go to like 500%. Okay, so it's as big as I can get that. Let's go to effects. I was hoping it would come up bigger here. Oh, actually, you can go bigger. Wow, that's cool. Let's go 400%. Because it's really about you guys seeing it. Okay, so let's... Maybe I've made it so big that it's just a blur. I think that's what I've done. Where I'm better off having the high resolution. So I'll delete that. We'll go back to the original here. I'll copy it, paste it, and crop it again. And let's just work on that one in the high resolution in the effects. Okay, I can see it there. Now, let's go big. Fit in view. Wow. Okay. No. Fit on screen. Maybe 600. Okay. Same type of problem, I think. Okay, yes, I think you look at that, guys. I think that's probably the best that I can get it at the moment. Can you see that sigma there? I am seeing it perfectly. Iota, the key and the iota are not really debated, but the sigma, people have said it's not really that clear. I'm seeing it very clear there. Let's go a little bit bigger. And again, 4031 family says this is fascinating, but what's the context for this on this page? Is someone drawing a correlation between the beast of Revelation and P1 of Matthew? It would be a strange anomaly because it's Matthew 1. and it's just got the 616 number of the beast on on Matthew 1. It just says, Vivlos Genesios Jesu Christu, we are David, we are Abraham, the book of the generation of Jesus Christ, son of David, son of Abraham. It's got the genealogy of Joseph, Jesus' stepfather there. And I think it ends at like verse 23 on the other side. And I haven't checked the other side for paratextual features either. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, I'll see if I can zoom in even more. Maybe a little bit more. I think you guys can see you can now see what I'm saying. The outline of this. Now, maybe because when we look at some of the other paratextual features, I'll just cancel that. If we just go to the actual manuscript itself and I go apply effects gallery. So yeah, you can see here, I was looking at this the other day. So it looks like an upsilon with two dots on the right-hand side, a line above it, a line before it, and perhaps a line after it. So it might be in like a little box. It seems to have a dot before it. Here's the alpha. Most people just point out the alpha. I was surprised to see this and I was fascinated by it. I'm also interested in under this number 2, which is done by a modern scribe. It has this here. And so I'm trying to sort of figure out what that is. But definitely when I look at that looks like maybe I need to actually zoom that in for you guys to make it a little bit more. So yeah, we can definitely see the alpha there at the top of the page. And we can definitely see this upsilon here with some dots around it and a line above it and perhaps a line after it, definitely a line before it. And there's these other dots here too, which I haven't really looked at. But then when we just go across the other side of the page, it's fainter, but you can clearly see a key, an iota, and a sigma with a line above it. And so I'm seeing it. I've convinced myself because I wasn't sure. I was like, this is interesting. It's fascinating. The neighbor of the beast. So this would be the third manuscript with this reading. And so let's just have a look at a little bit of the history of this reading. So, okay, so where are we? I grabbed a couple of pages. No, that's not going to help. I need to close that one. All right. So I'll just play you what Dan Wallace would say about this. So,
this manuscript is the oldest manuscript.
So he's talking about this manuscript of Revelation.
Manuscript for Revelation chapter 13. And it has, at Revelation 13:18, the number of the beast as 616. In 2002, 4 years after it was published, I had the privilege of going to the Ashmolean Museum and looking at this manuscript in the flesh as well. This fragment was between two plates of glass, which is always the best way to preserve papyri. And what was interesting about it was that there was a sheet of paper behind the front of this text. Now, it was written on both sides, but you couldn't read the backside because of the sheet of paper that was covering it. And it just so happened the backside is what had Revelation 13:18 on it. And I was curious about that. This was the most significant textual variant in this entire manuscript. And I asked the curator, I said, how many people have looked at this manuscript since it came out, since it was published 4 years ago? And he said, including you? Yes, one. So apparently they had no need to slice it open so people could see it. I looked at it under a magnifying glass. I looked at it under a microscope, and sure enough, it said 616. Now, to this day, most scholars, as they've wrestled with this, they're not sure which wording is original, but still most scholars would say, 666, I'm fairly convinced that that's the number of the beast. 616, that's the neighbor of the beast. He lives a few doors down. How'd you like to live in that neighborhood? I know of no Bible college, no theological seminary or theological institute or denomination or church that states as its doctrinal statement, we believe in the virgin birth, we believe in the deity of Christ. Of course, they'll have those statements. We believe in the resurrection of Christ, and we believe that the number of the beast is 666. It's meaningful. This is an important variant, 666 versus 616, but it's not that meaningful. It doesn't rise to the level of changing any essential beliefs of Christians.
Okay, so that's actually a Muslim page. I just read it. It's like muslimprophets.com. It's like, okay. But and so they love showing all this stuff. It's like, oh, there's textual variants, and it's like, okay, guys, explain this. Explain this book. If you want to look at textual variants between the different manuscripts of the Quran, you can read through the footnotes of that and read the differences in the texts. There's quite a lot in that. And so that shows the difference between the text they have in Saudi Arabia and the text they have in Turkey. But so it gives you a bit of an idea. Dan Wallace is saying, okay, there's two manuscripts. So he found one with it. So the original one was Codex Ephraemi Rescriptus. Now, has this been spoken of? Yes. So I'll just quickly go through, I think it was Irenaeus. Was it Irenaeus? I've written down a few notes here. Yes, Irenaeus. So in book 5, he talks about 666. Okay, so this is a Catholic site. I didn't have time to really look up anything else. Now, they might talk about the rosary and have ads, and I'm not into all that. So I don't know how to shut that ad down, and it's right where I want to read. Let me maybe go smaller or perhaps bigger. No, it's just making the ad bigger. I'll refresh the page. There we go. Okay. And there is therefore, so this is Irenaeus, book 5. There is therefore in this beast, when he comes, a recapitulation made of all sorts of inquiry and of every deceit. I'll make it a bit bigger. It's hard to read that. There we go. Okay, so he says here, fittingly, therefore, shall his name possess the number 666. So he's clearly saying, this is Irenaeus, and so he had a direct link to the Apostle John through Polycarp. And so since he sums up his own person, all the commixture of wickedness which took place previous to the deluge due to the apostasy of the angels, and so he goes on quite a bit here. But definitely he's talking about 666, okay? And then he talks about, Nebuchadnezzar had a statue of 60 cubits. The width was 6 cubits, talking about all these sixes and things like that. So, look, you can get a brown scapula. You can get a scapula. And that if you wear that when you die, you'll go straight to heaven, apparently, according to the Roman Catholic cult. But let's go to the next page where it talks about 616, okay? So although certain as to the number of the name of the Antichrist, yet we should come to no rash conclusions to the name itself. So in other words, people think it's, this person and that person, or like most people have, who have some sort of sway over politics, George Soros, Henry Kissinger, Prince Charles. I've seen all of these people have links to 666, because this number is capable of being fitted to many names. Reasons for this point being reserved by the Holy Spirit, Antichrist, reign, and death. And so it says here, so he's talking about, like, it's called gematria in Hebrew. Now, if you have Nero's name in gematria, it actually equals 666. But if you do it in Latin, it's 616, which is quite interesting. So he talks about, the letters amount to 666, etc. But then he talks about, so I don't want to read the whole thing, but he talks about here. I do not know how this, how it is that some have erred following the ordinary mode of speech and have vitiated the middle number in the name, deducting the amount 50 from it, so making 616. So that instead of 6 decades, they will have it, but there is but one. And so he's talking about the 616 thing, and he goes through and talks about how it's, it's a lot of people making mistakes, maybe God can forgive them. Then he talks about, Revelation 22:19, don't add or subtract, it's a huge sin sort of thing. So I just sort of mentioned that this is quite a well-known problem. So the fact that we're finding manuscripts with this type of thing in it, just sort of, it's already spoken of. It's like, I'm sure that, as we go along in time, we'll probably find alternative letters to the church in Thessaloniki. They were getting churches supposedly written by Paul to say that the resurrection's past already and this type of thing. And so, perhaps we'll find those letters, and it shouldn't be a shock to us that it's like, all right, cool, that the Bible talks about this type of stuff. The early church writers have talked about this. And so the fact that we find some manuscripts with these silly 616 readings in it shouldn't be a huge shock. But to me, the shock is that it's in Matthew, in the first papyrus that they ever found. So, to me, I mean, when you look at that faded one there, the key and the iota are very clear. Now, I know a lot of people have said they couldn't see the C. In that one, I can't see it, but that's just, I mean, I've got a picture on my website which is woeful, So people are just uploading it as they can. Wikipedia Commons, let's see if that's got a bit more of a high res. Maybe that was the one I was just showing you. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. So let's move on from there. I was looking at actually Papyrus 1 Flyleaf. That's really quite high definition. Okay, so that's showing the other part of the manuscript, which I don't think anyone's actually figured this out. But this looks like Evangelion here. It looks like a P, an alpha, and a rho par, a meme, and eta. So yeah, interesting. But okay, so that's not, but it's not really helping us. But it is high res. That's what I was sort of hoping for. Okay, Dan Wallace. Okay, let's shut that down. Shut that down. Okay, so I was looking at ChatGPT asking if anyone had noticed this in Papyri 1. It doesn't seem like anyone's noticed this before, so it's a little bit of a find. But I do want to prove it. I guess I've proven it to myself. Now I'm just like trying to prove it to everyone else. Let's look at here. So that's the type of thing that I'm seeing. Okay, so maybe I can copy this image, and let's go to here, paste it. Oops, it's not liking my copy and paste at the moment. Yeah, because I've done it from Edge, which, okay. Maybe I should save image as desktop, save. That's better. And let's drop that down, go back to here, throw this up here. Okay. This is just to give you a bit of a guide to what I'm seeing. So I'm going to crop this, copy and paste it here. I'm going to crop this one, and we'll grab that little bit where it says 616. Okay. Now, let's check this out. So that's what I'm seeing there. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. I'll make this bigger again, and I will zoom in. What do you think, guys? I mean, I can see it, and I'm going to say this is a 616 reading in Matthew chapter 1, in Papyri 1, which is so strange. I have no idea why it's there. I have no idea who put it there. Not much is known really about the provenance of this manuscript, or much of the papyri. This is dated, I think, to, what's it, 170? 175? Let me have a quick look. So this would this be the oldest 616 reading? I'll better check all that. So let's go back here. Papyrus 115. What's it dated to? Description, text. Where's the date? Okay, so 225 to 275. Okay. Well, Papyrus 1 is date 250. Okay, around about 250. Okay. And Ephraimi Rescriptus, I'm not sure how old that is, or even how to spell that. I better search for it. Ephraimi Rescriptus. Okay. I just want to go to Wikipedia. Here we go. So Ephraimi Rescriptus has it spelt out. Okay, the date of this is 425, 450. So I have the oldest 616 reading of any manuscript, but it's actually not in the text. It's the paratextual features, which is interesting. It's very interesting. But why? Why would someone write 616 there? Are these just sermon notes? Is someone just writing this out as a sermon's going? Or why would they have 616 here? Very, very interesting. Okay, so what else have I got to say about this? So Irenaeus, he warns people about 616. Ancient copies and most accurate from those who learned from John, like Polycarp, they are all saying it's 666 according to Irenaeus. He talks about they've got the number there minus 50. This is gematria, and in Latin, Nero's name is 616. Okay. So Boulder's line says, I see a C to the right of it as well. Okay. I guess, let me have another look at that. Bring it here. So when you're saying to the right of it, oh, you mean here. Okay. Like there. It does. Yeah, I see what you're saying. And what I'll do, I'll group these together. Let's group them. Control G. And we'll put some more effects on it. Okay. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying there, like a C there. Because there could be lots of writing. I mean, when you look at this, it's quite fascinating that, let me just zoom out and we'll go to the actual text here. Zoom in. Like, it's quite interesting that this here, oh yeah, I'm starting to see a bit of a pattern of these two dots here, two dots there. It might actually be like a heading of some sort anyway, but to me there I see the 616 here quite clearly. Now, at first I thought maybe it's the name of Christ, Christos, but it's definitely got an iota there in the middle. I'll zoom that in. Oops. I'll zoom that in again so you guys can see what I'm seeing. I don't know why it keeps going there. Let's go back. Let's go to this one. Zoom into there. It's better. Go 2 spaces over the same line. And so maybe maybe you're thinking around here or somewhere. Because that's what I thought at first. Maybe it is like part of a word. But then I couldn't really make out anything before and after it. And the fact that it has a line above it, see, all the numbers have lines above it, above them in Greek, and so do the nomina sacra. And so that's at first I thought, oh, it's a nomina sacra. It's definitely got the line. I could see the sigma. I could see the key, and then then I noticed the iota. And I was like, that's 616 with the line above it, because sometimes you're looking at page numbers. yeah, there might be other things written. So this is quite fascinating. Okay, so they're grouped together. I'll zoom out a little bit. I might ungroup them. Okay. Maybe I can put it over the top of it like that, and then just cut it and paste it. Oh no, it's pasting down there. I thought it would be a cool thing to do. Maybe I can put it above it. Okay, so Boulder's line saying he can see this looks like a, whoops, where's my mouse? Here. That this looks like a H sort of thing, and this, I guess, looks like a C. Maybe I can Google words starting with, I guess the thing is, because it's got a line over these three letters, well, I guess the thing is that it's in running script. So perhaps, yeah, I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay, so I'm not really seeing the H there. I understand, like I can sort of make it out, but I guess it's got to be in line. Let's find a H from the main manuscript document, and we'll copy and paste it. Oops, here we go. A H being an eta. Let's zoom in here. Like this. Okay, so I'll crop that. I'll copy it first. Now, crop image. Let's go to here. There. Apply. Okay, it's a little bit bigger than, okay, that goes behind. Let's bring it in front. There we are. It's probably not that big, so let's go to transform scale. Let's go to, say, 75%. Might be a bit smaller, but And so I mean, I can, like, I guess the thing is, you know, I can see that there could be lettering after it. And I'll actually crop that a little bit more so we can squeeze it right in. Okay, so sort of like that. And then I think you were saying there is like a C after it that you can see. Now, I'm not seeing it that well, but definitely these letters I'm seeing. But I guess for the sake of everyone else, I better sort of probably shut this down. So what is running script? Running script means that the early Greek didn't have any gaps between them. So it was called, I think it's a fancy name is scriptum continuum or something like that, where it was just a whole block of letters. And sometimes I had a little bit of space. Like I'll just show you this, this main document here. So you can see it says Vivlos, and that's the sigma there, and then Genesios, Jesu Christu, Uio, so they're all in nomina sacra, David, and then the Uio there is probably nomina sacra as well. Abraham Egenesen, and ton Isaac there, Egenesen ton Yaakov. So it goes through all that, but it's in continuous script. So it has Vivlos. So sometimes this is where scribes get confused because it has Vivlos here. If you don't know the language that well, you could assume that it has Viv or something, and then Los again, something like that. And so, but that's where, say, what we're looking at here. I'm seeing those three. I'm not really seeing any other letters there. But maybe I'm not seeing it as you're seeing it. And the thing is, it's in smaller writing. This is definitely in. It could be the same scribe as this, or it could be what's called a palimpsest, which is they had writing on this. And they actually scrubbed it off and put Matthew over the top. And so perhaps this is part of an older reading. They're talking about Mark of the Beast being 616 or whatever. Now, there is another section to this on the other side, which I think we saw on Wikipedia. Which is, I'll just open this Edge page up again, which I hate having open, but I don't know why I've ended up with it there. Okay, so now we want to go to Papyri 1. Here we go. There is another section. Okay, so that's my page. So I've shown that, and then I'm showing this one here. But we want to go to the Wikipedia one because it has this extra little thing. Okay, I'm just going to go Papyri 1. Okay, Papyri 1, and down here. So on the verso, so on the back of it, so I haven't even looked at the paratextual features around the back of this, but they do have this type of thing as well. So it's like a title. And this could have been part of the Book of Revelation or something, or part of another text, or this could be a palimpsest where they've scrubbed everything off, but they sort of left this bit. But I'll show you a close-up of what that is. So let's have a look here. So it's here. To me, that is like a heading, like Evangelion, and it looks like PAR and E, and so it could be father, mother, something like that. Pater. It could be a poem, could be anything, you know. So they're the guys who found it. So yeah, I can see it there. Interesting. Zooming in. But so anyway, I'll go through some of these comments. Boulder's Line says, but I see it better far away as opposed to close up. Go 2 spaces over the same line. And so I will look at those issues, because perhaps this could be, because if you look at the main, like say what's happened with this here, that whole middle bit looks like a whole section that's, you know, there used to be another page here. And see, I guess the thing is too, on the back of this one here is where that other writing is. So maybe, I'm just thinking, okay, maybe if I go through Revelation, you know, 12, 13, and 14 or something like that, and look for those words that are in this section here. So you see what I mean? Like it's got it there, but on the back of that, it's like up here. Look, you can even see some paratextual things up here as well, which is interesting. So anyway, like if I have PAR or P and an alpha and a rho and and I search for that in Revelation, so I'll get Bible Hub. I'll go to Revelation 13. Now, Bible Hub. Revelation 13. Okay, so we want to go to the Greek. Now, I will throw it into Scriveners. And I want to search for, I'll get a P there and an A there, alpha, and a rho. Okay. Okay, there's one word that sort of appears there. It doesn't really appear anyone else. So that's 666, the number there. Okay, so I'll go to the chapter before and the chapter after. Okay, so we'll just check those out. Okay, so it doesn't appear in chapter 12. But 14, it appears twice. Okay. Okay. Now, perhaps this is, I think that wording there could match. Let me just go here. Thinking that perhaps it is a palimpsest or something. You see the P, the alpha, and the rho here. Now then we just have to find an epsilon and a gamma. Now when you have two gammas together, you have Evangelion. It's like angel. You have two gammas together, and it's like I think it's a diphthong where it creates an N sound. So I would look for, in this part, perhaps an epsilon and a gamma. Okay, so we'll just try that. Let's try an epsilon and a gamma. Okay. Legonta is appearing there. Okay. Megale. Okay, so but we are trying to. Now I've sort of lost my place. I should have looked up the verse. Now I'm trying to find a P. Here we go. P. Okay, PR. Okay, so that's appearing in verse 4. Okay. So it's a long way of going around all this, but so then we're looking for an E and a gamma. Here. Okay, so anything around verse 4, not really. So not really related to that. Unless it's part of a word that just abruptly ends and starts again. So the letters underneath, okay, so what are they? We've got an M and an E, so let's just check those out. Where are we? Here. Okay, so M and an E. We'll see that's relative to verse 4. Okay. Sort of. It appears just above it. You got the meta here. It doesn't really make that much sense to have that one, if you know what I mean, or else it would be up here a little bit. That looks like a bit of ink there. It sort of looks like it's being sort of cut over it. It's funny, you zoom in on Wikipedia and it zooms out. Okay. But anyway, interesting. Boulders Alliance says, I wasn't looking at that, but I see that one too. Yes, I see a H, a key iota, sigma, eta, sigma. Does anyone else see that? What is running script? Yeah, the line in the middle is shorter. Okay, thank you, Nick. So the words don't have spaces between those words. Yes, in the earlier Greek, they eventually did. 4031 family, they do not. Is your name supposed to be an acrostic for Baal? Pastor Brett, don't do it, Nick. The KJV needs no correction. I'm not correcting the KJV, Pastor Brett. I am showing that, like, one of the reasons I'm doing this is to actually show that a lot of people don't look at these manuscripts. And it's like, you know, to find the earliest mention of 616 is this. And so, Dan Wallace found the other one. But thankfully, when you go to Dan Wallace, he just leaves you hanging and in confusion. I'm like, no, the reading is 666. Irenaeus talks about this, very clearly rejected 616. And so, yes, but you know me, Brett, I think you're saying that with a bit of tongue in cheek there. So I didn't know they wrote on the back as well. It all looks Greek to me. Yeah, so that's very interesting, this type of thing. So I don't think anyone's really figured out what this is. So, but it could be like an introduction to Matthew. It could be talking about the father, the mother. Anyway, I think that's about it. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. If you've watched this video and you looked at all the zooming in that I did, you know, am I reading into this? You know, let's have a look at this. I'll just drop that H for a second. Can you see that there? I can. And so I think I have found the earliest reference to 616. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you jumping on at this weird time. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, man, I'm going to do a video on this. And I was like, no, this week I'm going to be a good boy. I'm not just going to do videos after videos. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to study things out. I'm going to copy and paste things onto my website. And I'm going to talk about Papyrus 1 on my website. So I've done all the homework first, and then I talk about it. And as soon as I saw this, I nearly fell off the chair. Because this, like, when you think of how big a deal it is for Dan Wallace to find 616, I wonder if this is going to be a big deal. But because I'm a TR person, they'll probably just go, you know, it's no big deal. But this is the earliest 616 reference that I think we have on a biblical manuscript. I'm not sure about commentaries, or I guess unless we have Irenaeus and old manuscripts of his, he might actually have this type of thing. The 4031 family says could be apophenia, could be legit. Very interesting analysis. Okay, apophenia. I have to look that one up. Apophenia. Apophenia, the human tendency to find meaningful patterns and connections between unrelated and random things. Okay, very interesting. Well, I think that I am done here. So thanks for joining us, guys. God bless you, and we will see you again very soon. But let us know in the comments what you think. I'm going to share this on a few other critical text sort of forums online and just see, like, I'll, you know, try and get maybe like Peter Gurry and maybe even Mark Ward or Dan Wallace to have a look at this. But apart from that, God bless you, and we will see you again soon. Have a great week.